All right, welcome back to another episode of First CSP, channel dedicated to bringing you the first council shoulder patch issues from all councils in Scouting America, both past and present. And we've got quite a treat for you today, a ton of patches to get through because we are doing the entire set of Greater New York councils. It just feels right, even though they do have their own separate council numbers, but they are kind of a related set, and for the longest time they were a multi-council federation, so it feels like the right thing to do to take a look at all of them together. We're going to go back all the way to the start and actually look at their pre-CSP for Greater New York. So let's head to the patch table. So here we have Greater New York 719, and this is listed as their TA1. It has a royal blue border, orange background, royal blue New York City, 1653 to 1953. It was produced in anniversary of the city's charter. Has a black beaver at the center, and I believe it was for a national jamboree. Most of the pre-CSPs are usually JSPs, although they don't say national jamboree. So they're often considered part of a first issue collection set for CSP collectors like ourselves. Really great patch, cut edge border from, again, 1953. These are fairly accessible. You can find them. Not tons of them, but they are reasonably easy to find still available. And so that was Greater New York 719. Then the councils transitioned to the 640 through 645 council numbers for the boroughs of New York as well. We have one additional pre-CSP, and that is the Brooklyn, New York's first issue. This is listed as 1973, and this for the Brooklyn 642 would be their first issue T1. We've got a gold border, red background. It's not a super bright red. It's kind of more like a brick type red. We have gold type 2 fleur-de-lis, noted that they do not have the traditional horizontal bar at the lower portion of the fleur-de-lis, but they are multi-directional, so we have type 2 fleur-de-lis. And it's noted on its shape for the vertical sides. So this is Brooklyn's T1. Have the gauze type backing. It is a cloth back. Really nice patch highlighting the Brooklyn Bridge. And then we get into the iconic set of Greater New York Council's issues. Obviously for Greater New York, the generic 640, and for Brooklyn here, 642, these will now be the second issue, so T2s. But for the rest of the boroughs, these will all be T1. And it is the very iconic city skyline, Statue of Liberty, white twill, white border patches. These are super iconic with the purple city skyline. We see the Twin Towers there. So this is Greater New York 640, and because we had the black beaver orange patch, this is going to be the T2 for Greater New York 640. Again, all of these were together as part of that multi-council federation, and they were all linked together up until it appears 2020 when they changed from that multi-council federation. So there is our Greater New York T2. And then we just have them in alpha after that. They are in alpha with the Bronx coming last because they went alpha off the T for the Bronx, although if you went off of Bronx, that would be in a different order. Here is the Brooklyn. So this is now the Brooklyn T2. Again, essentially they're the same image across the boroughs, different patches, just with the addition of each of the boroughs there at the bottom. So this being the Brooklyn edition, because Brooklyn had that 1973 patch, this is their T2. Someone accidentally marked a T1. We corrected that. It is a T2. And then we take a look. Next up is, of course, Manhattan. So just a really nice patch. I love the color set here. I would be a little worried as a scout from Greater New York that it is white twill and I might get it dirty, but when they're new, just super crisp. The color combinations with the Statue of Liberty in the green. We've got the blue water, the purple skyline. Just really nice setup. I really love these patches, and when you see them as a set, just absolutely beautiful to see them together. The nice thing is both this first edition set, the kind of first white set, and then the next issue, which adds the fleur-de-lis, which we have here today to take a look at as well. When you see them all together, they are super cool, and they're still reasonably accessible as well. I've seen some lots where people are selling them as sets, so you can get all of them at once into your collection if you would like to do so. So we followed up with Queens as the next one. Really nice, because Queens didn't have any pre-CSP. This is the T1 for the Queens, and Manhattan was 643. Queens is listed as Council 644. Staten Island up next at 645. Again, the first patch there, so it is T1 for Staten Island. Really nice. My patch table isn't quite big enough to put all of these up as a set. I'll try and do a larger photo that hopefully you guys will be able to see on the title screen. And then finally we'll bring up the Bronx, which is Council 641. And again, the first patch there, so it is T1 for the Bronx 641. Again, essentially the same patch. In imagery, just adding the borough title from each of the boroughs in the Greater New York Council's federation, essentially. Now they followed up those first white twill patches with adding the fleur-de-lis. Now again, for Greater New York and Brooklyn, these will be then the third issue, because they had the pre-CSPs that were the ones, and then without the fleur-de-lis as the twos, and then the rest of them, they would all be the T2, adding that fleur-de-lis. Again, the same imagery as we saw the first time, now just adding the fleur-de-lis on. This is very similar to what we saw with early CSPs, where oftentimes the first one would maybe just have the council name, and then the second produced patch would often add a fleur-de-lis, add BSA, sometimes adding both as identifying markings as part of Scouting America at the time. So we've got the generalized Greater New York. Again, this one now moved to a plastic back as the T3. The previous were just cloth backs. Then we've got the Brooklyn, again, also going to be T3 in this case, adding that fleur-de-lis. Really nice. Also, and refining these and move to the plastic back. And we've got Manhattan. Let's see if I can do a couple in here. Manhattan and Queens. Now these are the second issue because these did not have pre-CSPs. Again, both these also plastic back. And then the last two, we've got Staten Island and the Bronx. Oops. Knocking the patch table all over the place. Again, the same thing, just doubling back with what we saw with their first issues. The second issue now adding the fleur-de-lis. Really nice set. Again, they look absolutely phenomenal when you get to see all of them laid out together. And generally, these are still fairly accessible, and some people do even offer them. If you're looking to purchase CSPs, you can find them out there as a set, so you can get them all together. The T2, T1 set, the first white ones without the fleur-de-lis, can be a little bit more challenging to find all of them, but all of them still generally pretty accessible. And that is the Greater New York Council first issues. Hopefully you really enjoyed this episode. I really enjoyed bringing it to you. Greater New York has served a ton of scouts over the years. It is a very large area, very strong scouting movement, and really exciting to see the first issues that many of those scouts got to wear at the beginning of CSPs. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you have questions about patches, about collecting, by all means throw those down in the comments. We'd like to be able to help people with questions that maybe want to get started in the hobby, or have questions about identifying patches and where they may need to go to try and find more information. What are some resources, anything like that. By all means, drop that in the comments. We'd love to help people out. And with that, hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll catch you on the next one.